Hello and welcome to the latest edition of Desert Island Movies. And joining me today is actress Nichola Burley, who's on this side of me, might be on your side, that side. You're on that side for me today. So hello, Nichola, welcome to the island. And how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Are you?
Yes, I'm sitting on an island in the sun when it's actually outside. So I'm imagining it's. For those of you watching, you should know the rules of the island by now, which is that Nichola will be telling us about her 3 films very shortly and her soundtrack. They're not allowed to be like the whole Harry Potter series or the whole Lord of the Rings cheating. That's not allowed, and you're not allowed to pick sequels. So you can't go 1, 2, 3. That's fine. So I'm sure you know that, Nichola, because obviously you've watched all the episodes, haven't you?
Yeah.
Well, let's get right in. Let's deep dive. So tell us, what is your first choice? What will be the first film that you would want on the island?
I think this is good. I think you might be a bit shocked, Matt, but my first movie choice would be Hocus Pocus.
Oh, wow. Okay. Hocus Pocus. That's an interesting choice. Recently, it's come back into popularity. Everybody started raving about it.
Not recently. It has been in my popularity since I was a child.
Twist the bones and bend the back.
Well, yeah, but there was a big thing because I think there's a sequel now being made, isn't there? They're doing a Hocus Pocus 2, which you should probably get onto your agent to get you.
Yeah, no, I have. I first saw this post about 3 years ago, and I was like, right, get me in it, please. Get me. I will pay them to let me be in it, please. No, I've never heard it. I've never heard anything.
Never heard. Well, you should try again because it's now in pre-production. So, what is it about Hocus Pocus you love so much?
Everything. So, the characters, the songs.
Hello,
you. How it was a bit bonkers. Like how they did, I don't know why, like how they lived in this little cabin and they came back and they were trying to steal youth, and then one of them sucked life out of children. Everything. I loved everything about it. Like, it is, I will quote it word for word.
Wow.
I am that weird mom or auntie or friend or sister or daughter that if it's on the TV, I'm like, don't talk to anyone, don't talk to me. And yeah, I remember being really young as well and being so obsessed with it. It was a Halloween and my mum went out and bought all these materials and made us costumes, and I always wanted to be the blonde one.
Would thou dance with me?
But as I got older, I think then I'd want to be Winifred.
Hello.
I don't know, be any of them. I love it.
Well, Bette Midler was definitely the most outlandish one of all of them, wasn't she? Was. I think she was enjoying herself making that. So it'd be interesting to see how they do the sequel and if they all bring it back. I mean, the director Kenny Ortega obviously went on to bigger things and High School Musicals and things like that. But yeah, so is there any particular scene that really you're like, this is the bit? This is the bit.
So when she goes, okay, so they're in the party. They're in the party, and then she goes, "Hello, Salem." You know which bit I mean?
Yeah.
It's been 10,000 years, right down to the day. Now the witch is back, and there's hell to pay. This bit, oh my gosh, I'm out of my seat, having a party for one.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
So I could get into the music, get on stage myself. I'm there.
We've got you. And watch this afterwards now, aren't you? You're gonna go. Do you own a copy of it?
No, because you can get it on the TV now.
Oh,
I don't even have a DVD player anymore. That's probably weird. The PlayStation plays DVDs, I think. I don't know.
Yes, it does.
But no, it's so easily accessible.
Yeah, well, I believe it's on Disney Plus. I should probably get a percentage for mentioning Disney Plus, but yes, I think you can find it on there.
Oh, so perfect. Well, there we are.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay. So when did you first see it? What, this film,
I don't remember the first.
See it in your face. It's actually had quite a deep impact on it. So when was it that you just went? Oh.
So I don't remember the exact time, but I think I remember around the time and Girl Talk magazine was out, and my mum used to get us Girl Talk magazine every week. And we'd go to the shop, we'd get Girl Talk magazine, and this magazine had like spells in. So I was in primary school, and you could do spells where like you might pull a piece of your crush's hair and you do something with it. So I don't know if it was a combination of what I was seeing and then seeing this movie that kind of emulated a bit of that. I've always been a bit of a cheeseball. You will realise with my next few films as well. So the singing element, the dancing element, the magical, and not as in magical as in witchery, because that's not something I personally sort of you believe in. But just the element of this, you know, Disney when the song goes at the beginning. I don't understand why life just cannot be like that. Why you can't wake up in the morning and the world plays the Disney thing and glitter and it rains
in your
glitter.
front room and the squirrels come and clean your house. And
I still don't understand that, honestly. Like, why can it not be like that?
It would be wonderful, wouldn't it? So,
and I think I just, you know, even as an adult, that's quite unrealistic sometimes. But I think I just love that element of trying to make moments magical. So I'll be the one that dresses up as the Grinch at Christmas and like goes and pushes down my mum and dad's tree, and like I'll really try to recreate things. And
your kids are standing again, mum.
Well, no, the first time I did it was about 2 years ago. So Isaac would have been 5 and Ariana was 3. My niece and nephew were there, and they were so freaked out because nobody knew other than me and my husband had got the costume. So I went and changed and walked past the window, and I really got into the character because I think he's hilarious. And I came into the house and shook the tree and threw it, and my dad was like, "You're a bleeding idiot, what are you doing?" But I stayed in character, and then he came through with a box of chocolates and I smacked them out of his hand, and the chocolates went everywhere. Well, the kids genuinely probably thought it was the Grinch. I was like throwing oranges at my mom, and so like it would annoy my dad. He'd be like, "Grow up," and my mum would be crying, laughing. But I just think if you can create, and I know it probably sounds bonkers, but if I can create those moments for my kids, or even anyone around me, and even for me, I enjoy doing it, then it's kind of just holds on to a usefulness, doesn't it, that I think we're kind of expected to let go of, and I don't want to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I think that's brilliant. And yes, I've just looked it up actually. Hocus Pocus 2 is due out this year. So there you go. You've got something to look forward to later this year with Hocus Pocus 2.
Well, that's not annoying. I didn't even get an audition.
I know. Well,
I'm on strike. Not watching it.
Okay, that's it. You're having a sulk. Yeah. Sack your agent, get another one. Yeah. Hope they're not watching. So you have been in stuff recently. You're currently in something on Netflix, aren't you? Do you want to talk to us about it? It's a little mini series, isn't it? Called Behind Her Eyes.
Behind Her Eyes, yeah. So Behind Her Eyes. First of all, the director was absolutely incredible, and he just had this really, like, I don't know if I've ever worked with a director that has had the same energy. Like, I'm quite about people's energy. You know, sometimes you can be around people and you can feel a bit uncomfortable or on edge, or he was just almost so accepting of everyone and everything, very instinctive. Very intuitive. And I remember the first audition that I had, and I went in and I didn't look like anyone else that was going into the room, and I thought, oh gosh, maybe they're just the one that, like, will give her a try, feel a bit sorry for her. And I went into the room, and then me and Simona, the actress, she was actually coming in second, but I think she'd already been cast, or they had in mind that they wanted her. And they turned around and we started talking about crystals. We spent a lot of time talking about crystals, and I can't remember what I had. Maybe it was keyring or something like this, and then Simone had a necklace on, and that was pretty much most of our audition. And then the director was like, "Okay, shall we act? Can we see the scene?" And we did it, and I just think we'd really clicked or bonded. Then I had to go back outside the room, and then I went in with Simone, and I found out a few days later I had it, and it was then that I got the whole script, and I was like, this is absolutely crazy. And a little unnerving. But I remember the director just saying, your character, sorry, you can hear my rabbit drinking water. The director was like, your character is the only one that's grounded in reality. So I didn't have to think too much about all of the other stuff that was going on. I just had to stay normal, and I guess like a friend would.
So how did you come in? How did you come in to get into Behind Drives? You were saying about the audition stuff, but how did you come to that? Was it just your agent sort of went, here's a script, have a look, or was it anything?
So for any audition, usually it works one of two ways. So it's usually my agent sending me something and saying, have a read of it, let us know what you think, audition if you want, and then you get given like self-tape dates, or you get given an audition meeting, or it comes through as an offer, which will be, Nick, they want you to do this, what do you think? So it's one of those two ways, but this one was an audition. I didn't get the whole script, as in the whole sort of mini-series. I got, I think, scenes, but enough to take enough information from. Then I had the audition, met the director, auditioned, met the producer. I'd worked with a producer before, so that was really nice. And then that was pretty much it. Yeah. Auditioned, and I think I found out after about a week of that one that I'd got it.
Yeah, and now you're on Netflix. So, in fact, more than that, quite a few of your things are on Netflix. Also, until recently, Donkey Punch was on there.
Was it? I didn't know this.
Yeah, no, it was. It was. Yeah, I think it's come off recently, but it was on there. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, no, Donkey Punch is very popular still. It's almost like a cult thing, Donkey Punch.
Well, do you know what? I think I remember the director saying that at the time. So Ollie is really quite incredible. He's like this is a director. And Jamie Winston once described him as a mix between Tigger from Winnie the Pooh and Einstein. And he really is. Like, Ollie would stand behind the camera when we were doing scenes. This is no exaggeration. And he'd be like this. Like, and you could see him sort of in your peripheral vision behind the lens. And I've never seen it. And the excitement was very apparent with him. And the whole shoot was mental. I'm not surprised it's a bit of a cult film, to be honest.
What's everyone doing when we get back?
Yeah, it's one of those films. I think it had quite a young cast, and at the time it was, nothing like that.
You want a story from Donkey Punch?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think anyone really knows this.
Ooh.
Okay, so
exclusive, everybody.
Exclusive story. So we travelled from. We filmed in South Africa, and we travelled from Cape Town to Langebaan, and we got given two options to get there. So the options were go on the yacht, get to Langebaan, which I think it shouldn't have taken as long as it did, put it that way, or go by coach. So what's everyone going to do? Yacht or coach? So most of the crew had to go by coach, and it was the cast, the director. No, Ollie wasn't there. It was the cast, it was the first AD, and it was the cinematographer. We all chose to go on the yacht. Well, Barry, who was the first AD, God bless him, I'm sure he was like drunk or something on the yacht. It was crazy. I was having an absolute panic attack, like literally like Tammy, what's going on? Because it was really late at night. And when you looked out of the yacht, you couldn't see anything. It was just pitch black, like no lights, no nothing. Anyway, while we're in the middle of the bloody sea, bear in mind, we're told we have these guys called Frog Squad, which are the stunt coordinators, but also when you're doing scenes in the water, they swim around you, and they tell you they swim around you, and if any sharks or anything like that come, they alert you and you get out. That's their job. They swim around you, but there's bloody seals everywhere. So when me and Jamie are on that boat as well, when we jump on the dinghy, one of the frogs, we didn't know the Frog Squad guys were underneath the dinghy. We thought it was a seal that popped up, literally like freaked out, because we've got a yacht coming towards us. thought, and it's just the guy in the wetsuit. Anyway, it was all mental, like, and because a lot of it was filmed at night, just a bit like, woohoo. And anyway, we're on the bloody sea, pitch black. People are drunk. The cinematographer had gone to sleep downstairs. This alarm starts going off on the yacht. Bear in mind, we're with two very young, like we were young then, and we were with two of the crew were young. The panic was insane. So this alarm starts going off. We were like, what the heck's going on? And the guys didn't even know. For ages, we were stuck in the middle of the sea. The boat stopped and this alarm's going off. We know there's one dinghy. One dinghy is not holding us. We use the same boat, the same dinghy for filming. We were stuck there for ages. I was phoning my husband, like, he was my boyfriend at the time. I was phoning, please, can you help me? He's like, you're in the sea in South Africa. What can I do? I was crying. Went downstairs. I was waking up the cinematographer because she was like the only mother type figure there. Barry's like dancing around drunk or something, God bless him. The other cast like, chill out, babe. It's like, you got fucking mental. The alarm's going off on the boat. And anyway, what should have taken us, I think it should have been like an hour. It took us 4 hours to get there. And we spent most of that time stuck in the middle of the sea, pitch black,
with an alarm
in the
going
dark
off.
at night, with an alarm going off on the boat. And that just puts Donkey Punch shoot into perspective, honestly.
That's why it was clearly such so intense, because you're all like,
the last day we shot 23 hours on camera.
oh.
No, yeah, I was literally at one point crying, and they were like, why are you crying? I was like, I'm tired. 23 hours. We'd done 16 hours on camera the day before and 23.
Well, it was worth it.
It was worth it. It was bleeding mental. The whole thing was just an amazing opportunity, but mental. Truly. Another story from that. I wanted to go visit Robben Island, where Nelson Mandela was detained, and I went on my own. And I'd been reading all these books out there because I'm stupid about all the shipwrecks between Cape Town and Robben Island. I didn't think that they were all as real as they were. The sea on the way back, again, I phoned my husband, it was horrendous. There's no top on the boat. Yeah. You all sit around the outside. We got given life jackets on the way there. On the way back, we didn't. It was so bad. Like when the boat went down, all you could see was waves up. And then it threw us, and you was really high, and all you could see was this big ditch you were going into.
You're never going to forget this. But
the whole thing was amazing. But when you think about it, you think,
what was I doing? Yeah.
It's honestly just like really dangerous. We wanted to go swimming with sharks, and then they stopped us last minute. I just don't think we were all thinking right. So I'm not surprised it's a cult film. It was loads of young people.
So what was the alarm? Everybody needs to know, what was the alarm on the boat? Do you know what it was?
No, we never knew. We never knew what it was, but the boat stopped.
Oh.
And there were way too many of us on the boat than there were for the dinghy. I knew that. I think I was the only one that was thinking that far ahead.
You were on the dinghy going, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, the sea, there was nothing around. I remember I kept looking out the windows. We weren't allowed outside because the sea was that bad. And I remember thinking, I'm not the strongest swimmer. I can swim, but I'm not the strongest. We got told constantly, you can't be in that water for more than 40 minutes because the seas cross. You can get hypothermia. We know there's sharks in there. There's no frog squad in here, so no one's going to swim around us to make sure no sharks are coming. It was
proper jeopardy. Yeah.
Mental. That's a film in itself. Honestly, the stories of that shoot for a film, that is a film in itself.
You should probably take those experiences in other films.
If I took every experience from every film set, it's a bloody book in itself, honestly, I tell you.
Maybe you should write it. Be interesting.
Maybe I'd get fired or arrested or
work again. Yeah.
Never work again. Yeah. Yeah. I'd be like the it'd be a story in itself. So are you allowed to bang in? My dog and my rabbit now fighting, and they never make this much noise. We have a house rabbit,
right?
and a puppy. It's weird, isn't it? But yeah.
They're doing it because you're not paying attention to them. That's right.
I bet. Cheeky puppy.
Yeah. Anyway, so kind of right. So let's go. Let's get on to your second movie then. This should be good.
Okay. Second movie.
Yeah,
Aladdin.
Aladdin. What, the Disney
The
Aladdin?
new Aladdin, yeah.
The new one with Will Smith.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Why that? Not the original with Robin Williams.
No, the new one. I just love it. Again, I love that. I guess I love the sort of enchantment and the. I think no matter what, imagine you were on an island and you watch something like that, you're going to temporarily be transformed to not a necessarily better place, because you might be really happy that you're on the island, but you'll be temporarily transformed again. And I think that's what movies, in my opinion, should be able to do for whatever reason you watch it. If you watch a horror, if you watch something dramatic, if you watch a love story, the best movies really make you believe. And I temporarily believed Aladdin. If that sounds really weird, I was so absorbed in it.
Don't you dare close your eyes. Hold your breath, it gets better. I'm like a shooting star. I've come so far. Let me share this whole new world with you.
Yeah, that is the Aladdin.
So where do you sit? So you are. I mean, you say you like this Aladdin, but are you a traditional Disney fan, like the animated versions, or do you like these newer ones where they keep remaking them and doing them live action?
I like both, to be honest. Like, so in my opinion, I don't even know if Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is Disney, but you can't remake that. Warner Brothers. Okay, you can't remake that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, that is not better than the original.
Yeah,
it's just not.
Again at the moment with Timothy Chalamet, aren't they? Is Wonka. It's called Wonka, in fact. It's more apparently the backstory of Wonka, which I don't think anybody really cares about, do they?
Yeah. But I think that is so. In some things you can't recreate. I just don't like. For me, Hocus Pocus, if it's being recreated as opposed to Hocus Pocus 2, you can't recreate that. And I just don't believe you can. But then some of them. It's not necessarily for me about what's remade, what's original. It's not necessarily that. It's just about how a movie makes you feel. To be honest, sometimes I don't watch it and think, I watched this before. I'm not really that person that's, I'm intrigued to see what you've done with this. That doesn't bother me. I just kind of take things for what they are.
You just want to be entertained.
Sorry?
You just want to be entertained.
Yeah, I think so. That's quite simple, isn't it? Yeah. I think... and I'm so excited about it. Like, I've got a drama school and we have a movie premiere for the kids every year. So they make films and then we have a big red carpet event and they go and watch them. And when we went to do the trial, I sneaked behind the curtain in the operating room. I'm so sorry to the cinema if you're watching this. I'm sure you knew it was me anyway. But we were trialing the movie to see it worked on the screen and I could see Aladdin playing in the other. So I sneaked behind the curtain and just watched it while there's a whole cinema in there, knocked a button and plunged them into darkness. And the guy came running up. I'm so sorry. This is Yannick at Cineworld. He came running up and he was like, what the heck have you done? I said, I do nothing. So I run back and stood where I was. But yeah, it's just one of those things. If I get a chance to watch it.
So which Cineworld was this?
This was Cineworld in Resorts World. I'm sure he knew it was me anyway.
Don't go there, buddy, because if Nicola's there, she's going to turn all your films off.
Yeah, all I could hear was, oh! And I thought, shit. And it went, the whole screen went black. And then they came and had to figure out what I'd pressed because I didn't realise what I'd pressed. I pretended I didn't actually. Then they fixed it and put it back on. But it's just, I think it's about being transported somewhere, isn't it?
You done wound me up. You ain't never had a friend like me.
Oh, why Will Smith over Robin Williams?
It's not that. It's not necessarily Will Smith over Robin Williams. It's the whole thing. I mean, if I'm really honest, I love Jasmine and Aladdin in it.
Okay.
I love
Yeah.
Will Smith in it. I think he's really good, but I'd say it's their Jasmine and Aladdin's relationship. I love this kind of. I think they did it so, even though it's Disney and obviously it's heightened and all the rest of it, I think they had this real simplicity about these two people who loved each other and cared for each other despite their social status, and found a way to make it work. And almost Aladdin's desperation came across of, I'll be who you want me to be. And I think this happens a lot in society. I think it's a bit of a mirror to society. Let me be who you want me to be instead of being me. I've definitely done it a lot before. And at what point, you know, she eventually turns around and sees him for who he really is and still loves him as much, probably if not more. I think that story is beautiful.
And they expanded it, didn't they, in the live action version? The whole Jasmine Aladdin relationship was because they added extra bits in quite clearly. Because obviously in a cartoon, it's a bit difficult to do that kind of drama.
Yeah.
So I can see what you're saying and shit. You know, the big thing at the end with I've forgotten his name. I always forget the wizard's name, but yeah, I always want to say Alcazar, but it's not that. That's
I can't remember.
Terrible, and I'm not going to remember it because I've got memory of a sieve. But
I guess it's quite nostalgic as well, isn't it? Actually, holding on, going back to the thing about Robin Williams, there's something nostalgic about it. When we see that it reminds you as an adult, and I think this is part of probably why I like those kind of films of that child innocence. And why is that something we let go of? You know, in the most.
Well, I don't.
I think children are incredible. Yeah, I know I don't. I really don't. But I think children are incredible. So if I ask my son a question, or my daughter, it's so pure. You might not always get the answer you want. Sometimes it's hilarious. Whatever it is, it comes from a place of such innocence. And I think those movies remind you to look at things in that way. It's almost so uncomplicated.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, someone once said to me, if you want an honest answer, ask a child.
Yeah.
Yeah, just ask them about your performances. What did you think? Yeah, no.
yeah, probably.
Yeah, you probably won't enjoy those. So,
bring me the lamb.
Yeah, so moving on from Aladdin, we'll leave him behind there. So before we get to your third choice, so what kind of roles do you like? Have you got a preferred kind of role? Because obviously you've done quite a lot of costume drama, I noticed. Because obviously you did things like Wuthering Heights, you've done Downton Abbey, you've done quite a lot of costume drama. And you know, some people don't like getting pigeonholed, or do you just kind of go with the flow and go with what moves you, or where's your?
It's interesting. I'm actually quite proud, I guess, that you've noticed that, because that was a conscious choice. I used to get a lot of gritty roles. So gritty as in like just very gritty roles, often quite dark characters. And then and I loved that. I really loved that. I think that's how I started out. I think because I'm quite an emotional actor, as in I'm quite vulnerable with emotion, and I probably often go to the place that's needed to bring that emotion to screen. But I really consciously wanted to try period drama. There were elements of me that had to change to get those auditions. There was things I had to really learn about it, because I guess I didn't really understand, and this probably sounds very naive, why can't a woman talk like this just because she's in a certain period of time? But it took a lot of learning, it took a lot of undoing in ways, but I loved it. I consciously really wanted to do that, really wanted to, but I feel like I've gone back to actually wanting to just play people with strong stories. It's quite boring being the girlfriend, the wife. Like, who is she? I remember getting a script maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and I read the script, and it was literally like the main guy's girlfriend. Sorry. And there was another role, so I won't say any names for obvious reasons, but it said she's a strong woman. So I said, okay, what makes her a strong woman? Because I can't see anything in this script that makes her a strong woman. She's a strong woman because she doesn't want a boyfriend. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, I'm not auditioning for it. What a load of shit. Like, pardon my language, but why is a woman strong? Just because she doesn't want a boyfriend? Like, what makes that person that person? Because we all have inners and outers, don't we? Like, you could be sat here now smiling, thinking, Nick, you're a really shit actress. It's just what do you know what I mean? Or I'm tired, or I'm hungry, or we all have this inner and outer. And I'm really interested in that kind of thing. What makes those in people? Where have they come from? Where are they going to? What is their, we may not notice, but we have motivations for why we do something, say something. We all have motivations every day. And often we're not quite conscious of them. I love the geeky stuff about acting. I love working all of that out. I love trying to understand that. So often quite complex people are the ones that excite me the most.
Oh, wow. So have you got? So I mean, we're kind of talking about this a bit, but have you got anything you got coming up? I know we've spoken before we've come on, and you know.
So the one thing it's not widely, it wasn't widely played, but something that I would love for people to watch if they haven't already would be Lynn and Lucy.
Have a look in there. Don't you see? I see a decent person.
So I actually won Best Actress for that 3 times, which I've never won anything before. So I'm quite proud. But that for me was one of the films where it was based on a real person. So the whole story isn't entirely true, but Faiza Khalifa had found this article about this lady. I think she lived in Bristol, and their child had been killed. And she was accused of murder, and they lived in like a council estate, and so her and her boyfriend had got questioned and arrested and all of this stuff. And when she came back home, she hadn't actually done it. She hadn't murdered the child, but everyone started writing horrible stuff all over her house. So she lost a partner, her baby got killed, and then she got completely tarnished. And to play that person, I actually got drunk in the audition just to try and show my commitment, which is really weird. But it took so much that even if someone turned around to me and says, I don't like that performance, whatever, I don't care. I genuinely mean that I don't care, because I know what I put into it. And I think it was the first role ever where I hoped people would like it, but I know what I felt. And I felt so much of what that character was going through. It was the one I had my hair shaved off for, and I would hope people would watch that film, and you're not going to enjoy it, as in you're not going to sit there and feel nice and comfortable. You will feel depressed, so watch it if you want to feel depressed and uncomfortable and a bit weird. But that film meant so much to me, to be given the opportunity to temporarily experience all of those things and to be trusted to play that person. That's such an honor. It's nicer to me than, oh, look nice and do. I'm not bothered for that. I want to play something with substance.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And if people do want to watch it, it is actually available on BFI Player. So
I love that you know all this.
I'm good at my stuff. What can I say? I try to.
Clearly, I don't know, Mark. I don't get told this stuff.
Well, it's on BFI Player. You can also rent it on digital as well. So, but yeah, no, BFI Player is where to go. It's actually quite a good app, BFI Player, because it's got some really good stuff on it, including Lynn and Lucy. So I've actually got BFI Player, so I will be watching it now. So,
bless you. Thank you.
As I haven't seen it. So, yeah, hopefully you'll get, some kind of royalty rate off that. And,
I doubt it, but you know what? I think it's one of those ones, sometimes you do things, and I think I was always quite mindful that it wouldn't even be fully appreciated on the scale that it should be. Which I think this often happens with low budget films, doesn't it? And sometimes they're some of the best, they're some of the best stories. But I'm still thankful I got the opportunity to do it, and it was so hard. It was in some ways it was so hard, but also so rewarding.
Yeah, cool.
I hope people enjoy it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and we shall find out.
Do you feel okay to talk about what happened? I was in a state then. People are just talking about it.
Well, it's quite popular with the blokes, weren't she? We just don't know what she's capable of. People should know what you've been through.
She was never your friend.
Did you like that I used to call you at school? The pig.
Right, yeah. So make sure you watch Lynn and Lucy. It is on BFI. So now your third movie choice. Come on, we've had two great ones here, both Disney, interestingly enough.
Okay, so I'm not 100% sure. I've been racking my brains thinking about this. I'm not 100% sure if this is like in my top 3, but at the moment it is, so that's all I can go by. So it's going to be Dirty Dancing.
Dirty Dancing, starring Patrick Swayze, Jennifer Grey, and Cynthia Rhodes. Get ready for the time of your life.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Many obvious reasons. Again, I love that sort of breaking boundaries. I love that. I think I'm a bit of a secret rebel. I love the breaking boundaries. I love that they went after whatever they wanted, even though it was kind of maybe not respectful, not right. It's what they felt and it's what they went with. And it meant something to them. I love that. I obviously love the element of dancing. I love that the dancing actually broke some boundaries. It was it was about expression, like truly. I guess it's romanticizing. I love all of that I love all of that about it. And the songs.
I'm scared of everything. Most of all, I'm scared of walking out of this room and never feeling the rest of my whole life the way I feel when I'm with you.
What they learn from each other feels too good to be wrong.
And baby style. I love her style of clothes in it.
Yeah. So that you'd like to do that period, would you?
Yeah.
Dressed up in the clothes.
I do like. I would wear her clothes today. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd wear those style of clothes today. I do love all of that, but I love the idea that it's even, to me, it's like a caravan site today. That's how I make that. So, do you know what I mean? I kind of make that association with it. And it's also funny, isn't it? I don't know if you did it, but when you're younger and you go on holiday or you go to the caravan sites or whatever, and you meet someone and you're like, I want to be your pen pal. Or, do you know what I mean? It's kind of, it brings up all of those sort of funny memories, and at the time they're so, you think it's so real, you think those feelings are so real, and actually a week later it's laughable. But again, it's got, I think I like movies that sort of have this nostalgic element that tie in with modern, but you can see it from a different perspective.
I do have a bit of a problem with Dirty Dancing. I've always, it really bugs me from day one. I know I get shot down for this all the time, but the dance at the end, right, when they're doing Time of Your Life and he does the lift and everybody's all this, right? There's synthesizers in that song. In the 1950s, synthesizers weren't invented, or they weren't used in music back in the 1950s. So I have a problem with them using a modern song in an old setting. It just completely takes me out of the movie. And I'm like, no.
But it's interesting, but I don't think that's wrong that you feel like that, because I think with anything, whether you get an actor that does that, whether you have a song that does it, and I think ultimately this is it comes down to the directors and the producers, doesn't it? The way that, and this is a scary thing about acting, and I'm only realizing this as I get older. You think you have this very clear vision of what it looks like, and you don't. You're such a small cog in this big mechanism. That actually you don't have that much control. You go in and you do your bit and you don't even know what it's going to look like. You don't know what songs are going to, like when we did Street Dance, for example, we know what songs we're dancing to. We don't know what songs are on the in-between bit. And you really don't know that much, actually. You know the story, but the vision, the grading, the editing, all of that, the music, it's way beyond your control. So it's actually quite cool that you can identify that and say, I like it, but that just throws me out. Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. It's interesting you bring up Street Dance, actually, because you segued.
Lay me down, just lay me down.
Films like Dirty Dancing, kind of, when you get scripts like Street Dance, kind of your Dirty Dancing kind of thing moment, or is it?
So this will link in with my song choice when you ask that. But yeah, there's definitely something in that.
Yeah.
Definitely something. There's always that inner child in me in those dance movies. That one movie in particular, which you'll find out in a minute. But there's always that inner child in me that was like, oh, I want to do that, but I never, ever dreamed I would act.
Yeah.
And I think in a way that's why I'm so grounded about it, because I never had this big dream to do it. I always wanted to dance.
Yeah.
So it was the dancing to me. Gosh, if I used to like watch movies and think, I wish I could. One movie in particular, I wish I could be like that. I want to do that. I remember listening to the soundtrack for Honey. I believe I will. Oh my gosh, I was like, yes, this summarizes everything. It's my inner geek.
Because yeah, street dance came out during the great big. There was a boom of those kind of movies. Like I said, there was Honey, there was Step Up, and then obviously the UK did street dance. Back in my day, it was Break Dance, the movie, and Electric Boogaloo. But I'm that old, so we won't talk about that. But yeah, so how was the what's the word I'm looking for? The sort of, you know, that period when you did street dance, because obviously there are a lot of those movies coming out. Was that a case of you chose that because of that was happening, or was it?
No, that came about so weird. So I remember my agent phoning me and saying, Nichola, we've got this dance movie come up. Do you want to audition? I was like, yeah. We haven't read the script. I was like, yeah, I want to audition. Nichola, when was the last time you took a dance class? And at that point, I'd probably not danced for, let's say, at least 7 years, maybe 8. And I went, oh, last week. And my agent knows me enough. And they were like, Nichola, when was the last time you took a dance class? I was like, last week. And they were like, seriously? I said, just say last week. Please, just say last week. They're like, okay. So I got this dance audition, actually, before I did an acting one. And I thought, oh, brilliant. It's going to be against a load of actors. Well, I've got quite a lot of dance experience. So I felt, never street dance, never ever done street dance. But I thought, I'm all right here. I went to London. Ridiculously, I dressed what I thought a street dancer looked like. It was so cliche, it was embarrassing. And I went into this audition and gives me anxiety thinking about it. I looked through the window and they were like music video dancers, because there was different sessions throughout the day. And this is no exaggeration. I completely freaked out. I went into the toilets, I phoned my husband, I went, I'm coming home. And he was like, why? I was like, they're proper dancers, like these are, and it, I danced, so I knew these were like a million times better than I would ever be. And I was so embarrassed that I'd kind of even assumed I could do this. And it was like, he said, look, you're there now, you're not coming home, not yet, go in and try, what's the worst that can happen? And I remember going into my audition thinking, I'm going to give it my best, but I kind of knew it wasn't going to be good enough. And Kenrick Sandy, the choreographer, literally, okay, we're ready, we did this warm-up, and then he starts learning the choreography. He's like, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I thought, what the bloody heck was 1? Like, I was so bad. And I don't know if anyone knows this, but Talisa from N-Dubs ended up auditioning further down the line. And there was me, Talisa, and another girl got taken to one side because we clearly weren't picking it up as much as everyone else. And I kind of switched on. I thought, Carl is a dance teacher. So I kind of, in that small group of 3, made sure I picked it up quick enough and started to kind of help the other 2 girls to teach it. Obviously being very well aware that everyone's watching as well. I kind of thought, this is my one chance to... The acting audition, I felt like I smashed it, if I'm honest. I felt that was my comfort zone. But the dancing, I just found really difficult. And James Richards, the producer, had said to me he'd watched Love and Hate, so my very first movie, and he was like, I've always wanted to work with you. And that gave me the confidence to kind of think, okay, I must have something. I'm just not the dancer that they want. So I started to take private lessons and stuff in between. And then they split us down to 2 groups, which was mortifying. So for the last audition, it was 2 groups. It was one cast and another cast. And I think only Ukweli was in the 2, I think. But what they did was I stormed out of this acting scene, and as I walked out, the second group were there. I didn't storm out like having a strop, it was part of the scene. but the other group was there, and I remember looking at the girl who was going in. It was me and her.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh my gosh, she's stunning. I've seen her dancing auditions, but I just kind of held my own, and I thought, no, this is mine. Like, I'm giving it everything I got. This is mine. And when the call came through, I think that's one of the only auditions where I've screamed.
Really?
Like, screamed, because it was literally a childhood dream.
That's amazing. I'd be interested in seeing Charlotte Rampling's dance audition for that.
Unlimited access to rehearse here for your competition. If you include my dances in your routine.
What?
Wow. So they told me one day, they were like, you're going to meet Charlotte Rampling, and this is probably bad, isn't it? But I was like, who's that? And then I researched it, and I was like, okay. And everyone made this really big deal of it, and I was kind of like, okay.
Yeah, she's another actress. Like,
well, no, I don't even look at people like, you're an actor, you're an actress, you're a director, you're a producer. You're just a person, aren't you? I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I went and met her, and she was so lovely. And I thought, why does everyone have this bit of?
I think it's because of the role she's played over the years, and there's always that kind of, you're working with, I don't know, Charlotte.
But she's still a human, isn't she? And we got on so well. I think often some of the more famous people that I've worked with, I think because I've not known who some of them are, because I'm a bit gullible, I think, because I've not really known who they are, and even if I have, they're normal people. I've just taken them for how I see them, without any expectancy. I've got on with them really well.
Yeah, no, that's
I remember
cool.
Charlotte buying me this bracelet and writing me this card at the end, and she
nice.
was lovely. Honestly, she's so down to earth.
That's probably why everybody loves her. Yeah,
probably. But a lot of people, you see some actors get treated like royalty through fear of them. Through fear of what their reaction could be, when often their reaction, they just want to be treated normal. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So let's move on finally to your soundtrack then. I'm interested for this. I'm thinking, are we going to get a full performance or something? This is going to be...
don't want my singing, trust me, unless you want to be deaf. So my soundtrack would be from Save the Last Dance.
Ah, right, okay. Yeah.
So that was the movie where I literally kind of not saw myself as in I saw myself like her, but that was the movie where I kind of thought, I really want to do this.
Yeah.
I would love to be that. I didn't know it was even possible. Acting was nowhere near my radar at that point, but that was the movie where I thought, I want to do this. I want to not even act. I just want to be a dancer in a movie. That was it. So that soundtrack's really nostalgic. And it always just takes me right back to that filming and that feeling, but it also fills me with this huge gratefulness and this huge gratitude that I got to do it.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. That's amazing. So is there any particular song on that soundtrack, or is it just the whole thing?
The whole thing, I think.
Yeah,
I think the whole thing. I couldn't choose one song off it. Because not one sticks out. So, for example, if I'm anywhere and I hear a song, it just fills me with gratitude, because it's almost like the child that really, really desperately wanted to be that, and the mind-blowing, still, I don't get it, but enormous gratitude that I got to. And it's kind of those two put together. You know, like that moment at Street Dance where she's on his shoulders at the end, like, it's that in those songs. So
you've got your three. You've got Hocus Pocus, you've got the remake of Aladdin, you've got Dirty Dancing, and you're taking the soundtrack of Save the Last Dance. So hopefully you won't get stranded on an island, because being as you've been on the boats and stuff, you should be all right. So
but if I do, I'll just be a little cheese ball party on my own, won't I?
Sounds like fun. It sounds like a fun island to me. So that's fantastic. So hopefully we'll be seeing you on the screen soon. Hopefully we'll be seeing you in some new stuff anytime in the future. And thank you once again for being a guest on the island. And I look forward to seeing everybody else soon with our next guest. But for now, thank you very much, Nichola. It's been amazing. And we will see everybody soon. See you later.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.